Hey, welcome to the channel. I hope you've checked out our channel description and presentation video. If you enjoy real and emotional stories like this one, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you won't miss any of the incredible stories we have coming up. Now, let's dive into our first tale. I assure you it's a 100% true story that happened to the father of a school friend of mine. Here we go.
This probably isn't a story with a fair ending, but it's one that marked me deeply and changed the way I see life. Forever. My name is Ronald. Back in the mid-90s, life was simple. I had a loving wife, an 8-year-old son, and a decent job. Life was good, even peaceful, in a way that makes you feel like everything is falling perfectly into place. I felt grateful for everything I had. Our family life was full of harmony and happiness. My wife and I enjoyed watching our son grow up, sharing in his milestones and dreaming about the future we'd build together. One day I had to travel to a border town for work. It was a routine business trip, something I did from time to time. Since there weren't many flights available back then, I decided to drive. It wasn't my first long drive, so I wasn't worried. It was about a 7-hour journey on the road, nothing too difficult, or so I thought. The neighboring country was known for having better prices than ours, especially because of lower taxes. So before I left, I said goodbye to my family with a smile, promising them I'd bring back something special. I spent about a week away, working hard and missing home more and more with each passing day. As the days went by, I couldn't wait to return to my wife and son. There's just something about being away from family that makes you realize how precious every moment with them really is. On my way back, I made sure to buy gifts for my family. Mostly perfumes and cosmetics for my wife, and video games and electronics for my son. I could already picture his face lighting up with joy when I handed him those presents. The trip home started off quietly. I was driving along a simple 2-lane road with hardly any traffic. Everything seemed calm, almost too calm. But that's when things took an unexpected turn. Suddenly, a car appeared behind me, speeding up and trying to overtake. It was a light S-turn, and the driver clearly didn't notice the oncoming vehicle in the opposite direction. It all happened so fast. At the last possible second, the car swerved back into its lane and narrowly avoided a head-on collision. But in doing so, it grazed my car. A light touch, but enough to throw everything out of balance. That small impact caused me to lose control. I remember the sensation of the car spinning out. My world flipped, literally. The car tumbled, and before I knew it, I was trapped inside, surrounded by twisted metal. I could barely move. Every part of me screamed in pain. My left leg felt like it was on fire, but somehow, through the chaos, I was still conscious. I could see the wreckage around me, hear the distant hum of the road. The car that caused the accident just continued on its way. No hesitation, no looking back, as if nothing had happened. I lay there in agony for what felt like an eternity. But then I heard another car approaching. Relief washed over me. Someone was coming. I thought I was saved. I don't remember much about the car that stopped, but I know it was a nice one, probably an SUV. A well-dressed couple got out and walked toward me. I remember thinking, thank God they're going to help. But to my shock and disbelief, instead of offering a hand or calling for help, they looked right into my eyes and ignored me. They didn't care about my pain. They didn't care that I was lying there, helpless and trapped. What they cared about was the stuff in my car. They started rifling through the wreckage, taking the gifts I had bought for my family. The video games, the perfumes, even my clothes and bags, everything. They stole what little I had left, and then they just walked away, leaving me there, vulnerable and defenseless. It wasn't as if they thought I was dead and decided to take my belongings. Logically, that would still be a wrong thing to do, but less shocking. No, I was fully conscious. I asked for help. They saw me, heard me, and still chose to do nothing. They literally looked me in the eyes, acknowledged my plea, and then carried on. They calmly gathered my things, loaded them into their trunk, and drove away as if I was invisible. I wasn't just abandoned. I was treated like I didn't even matter. That was one of the darkest moments of my life. It wasn't just the physical pain. It was the sheer sense of abandonment. I had never felt so alone, so powerless. How could anyone be so heartless, so indifferent to the suffering of another human being. I lay there wondering if that was it, if that was how it was all going to end. But then another vehicle came. This time it was a truck driver. I'll never forget him. Unlike the couple before, he didn't hesitate for a second. He stopped immediately and ran toward me. He couldn't pull me out of the wreckage, but he didn't leave me. Instead, he called for help and stayed by my side. He held my hand, reassuring me that I wasn't alone, that I was going to be okay. He comforted me in a way that I can't quite explain. Just knowing that someone was there, that someone cared enough to stay, made all the difference. It was a bittersweet moment. On one hand, I had lost faith in humanity, but on the other, I was overwhelmed with gratitude for this stranger's kindness. He didn't owe me anything, yet he stayed with me, ensuring I wasn't alone in what felt like my darkest hour. The rescue team finally arrived, and I was pulled from the wreckage. I had a broken femur and a few other injuries, surgery, a leg cast, and an entire year of physiotherapy followed. But considering how bad the accident was, I was lucky to be alive. Looking back, I've had time to process what happened. Yes, I saw the worst of humanity that day, the cruelty, the indifference, but I also experienced the best, the kindness of a complete stranger who asked for nothing in return. My accident wasn't fair, and it wasn't right, but it taught me something important about resilience, gratitude, and the value of the people who truly care. This experience showed me that while there will always be those who hurt or abandon us, there are also those who will stand by us in our darkest moments. I never found out what happened to the driver or the couple who looted my car. That's why I say this story probably doesn't have a fair ending. There weren't many road cameras back then, and I didn't catch their license plate numbers. Sometimes I catch myself wishing karma caught up to them, but I try not to dwell on those thoughts. Despite everything, I'm here, I'm alive, and I'm fully recovered, surrounded by the people who matter most. My wife, my son, my family. No matter how hard life gets, there's always a way to heal and move forward.
I hope you enjoyed this first story. If you did, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe for more, and share it with your friends. We have many more incredible tales to tell, so stay tuned.